Welcome back, everybody. I am Tim Walsh, your Vanilla Gorilla. It is shortly past 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning. We're back here at the greatest gym in the world, 613 Lift, in the nation's capital of Ottawa. Paul Masson's with me, Jack Santa 68. Today we're going to blow up some chest and shoulders. We're going to try a couple new things from a couple different angles. I'm in love with these prime handles that you would have seen in the last video. We used them for arms. Today we're going to use them. Exercise number one is going to be cable chest press variation with those handles. The change in grip circumference, really, it gives a more assured feeling through my blown up rotators. They just feel much more strong and confident. We're going to do 3 exercises for chest. We're going to do 3 exercises for shoulders. Just about everything will have a kind of a twist or a variation on it. There'll be some cool new stuff here that you've either never seen before or maybe haven't seen in a while. I'll explain why I'm going to do things every time I do something a little bit different. I'll explain why I want to do that and how it would benefit both me and you. So thanks very much for joining us. We'll be back in a second. We're going to bang out a couple of warm-up sets here and we'll get into the good stuff for you. So I think I forgot to mention before we began this exercise, the goal here is 3 total work sets, 2 straight sets of 10 where we're leaving rep or 2 in the tank, and then we'll take whatever that top load is going to be and we'll just rep it right out. So this isn't really a situation that lends itself to forced reps because there's not really a place for your partner to spot. So we're just going to go to absolute failure. When I get to a situation where I know I'm not going to be able to get another concentric rep, I'm going to hold the contraction for about a 5 count in my mind, just really maximize the time under tension. Then I'll control it back into the stretch position and give one handle to Paul and I'll keep the other one. Okay, so exercise number 2 is going to be a variation of a very traditional bread and butter exercise for chest mass. We're going to do a flat dumbbell press, but we're going to do it band resisted. So you'll notice in every set, I'm going to have a thin red band looped around the thumb of each hand and around my back. So what that's going to do, actually I'll just show you. So if you can imagine, I've got dumbbells in my hands right now. In the bottom of the movement, there will be minimal band tension when my shoulders are at their most vulnerable. And then as I drive the bells away, the bands increase the tension so that I'm giving up that mechanical advantage. Generally speaking, without the band, the closer you get to your arms being straight, the easier it is to finish the rep. But this way, the load will keep increasing because the band tension will start to add on to the weight from the dumbbells. So what this is going to do is allow Paul and I to overload the top of the movement, but sort of deload the bottom of the movement. The same way, it's the exact same principle as band assisting a hack squat or a leg press. Makes it a little bit lighter in the bottom, a little bit heavier than it would be at the top to sort of flatten the strength curve and allow for maximum growth stimulus, but minimal stress on the rotators. Okay, so here we go. You just set up shop the same way you would.
Okay.
So you can see I've got the bands looped around my thumb.
Yeah.
And then I'm just grabbing the bell the way I normally would.
Okay.
So I'm gonna lay back.
Okay. Okay, see where the tension is.
So control your stretch, and then when you drive up, just flex and hold. And just keep that tension right in the pec. Comfortable so far?
Yep.
Cool. So just stretch them and squeeze them, get a total load through your rotators.
Yeah.
So because normally when you do flat dumbbell press, the big movers, the pecs, the front delts, triceps are doing most of the work. There's very little forced stabilization. But with the bands, because the load is changing every millimeter, your supraspinatus, your infraspinatus, your the support muscles within your rotator, they have to get active because the load's always changing. So this is how over time it can become a rehab exercise, and it actually helped to fix what's left of my shoulders. I did this.
Yeah, and it definitely takes the pressure off because you don't have to go so heavy to get that same pump at the top.
Exactly, because it's 30 pounds at the bottom, but it's like 45 at the top.
Yeah, it's definitely, definitely you can feel the difference.
I'm gonna throw my belt on.
But people ask me so much more. All right, let's go again.
Great control. Okay, so exercise number 3 is going to be a variation on a cable fly. We're going to do it sort of chest supported. So what that's going to do, I'm a fan of the traditional one where you stand and kind of lean against it, but especially when you get really tired, you're kind of having to readjust load, shoulders wander all over the place. I've discovered that this is just much more stable, and it's easier for me to make every repetition exactly like the one that preceded it, and I can get a great pump in my chest, and I have no trouble stabilizing my scapula. So we'll do 3 work sets here. The third one will be an absolute max effort. First one, probably 11, 12 reps till we find the right load where we would achieve failure in the 13 to 15 rep range. It's not an exact science, just somewhere north of 10, south of 20 for the max effort set. feel that squeeze in the bottom and then come up nice and slow. And then constant tension. So you're not trying to be explosive, you're trying to crush it.
That is nice.
Good, just constant tension. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so that's it for chest. Exercise number 1 for shoulders is going to be straight bar upright row. You don't want your grip to be too narrow, but you don't want it super wide. Just inside shoulder width seems to be the sweet spot for me, at least anyway. I'm gonna bring the bar right up under the chin. One thing that's super important, the wrist should never be higher than the elbow. So imagine there was 2 strings attached to your elbows from the ceiling, and they're just pulling your elbows straight up, and you'll get good activation through the medial delt head, which is what I'm primarily looking for here. 10 to 12 reps, nothing crazy heavy. This can be an exercise that's not very friendly to your rotators. Ironic perhaps that I'm still using it because I've torn both rotators, but I actually find with a moderate load and the right tempo, I get a dirty pump in my medial delts and there's no downside to it. So we're gonna do 2 to 3 work sets, 12-ish to 15 reps a piece, no max effort set, and then we'll move on to another medial delt exercise. Probably a dumbbell lateral. I still don't know if we're gonna do or a lateral, I don't know if it's gonna be dumbbell or machine yet, but upright rows, here we go. I just straight up lie to you. I didn't have any intention of doing like a true max effort set, but these are giving me a really dirty pump in my shoulders. So we're gonna dial it up a little bit for the last set. Gonna go to failure, reduce the load by 20 pounds, and then pump out reps. And I'm not gonna get to the point where I'm just heaving around like an idiot.
Here, I'll take those.
As soon as I have to cheat a little bit, that's where I'll call it a day after the load reduction.
Try these things?
We'll just turn the intensity up a little bit.
Be my girl.
Doesn't hurt a bit. All right, so exercise number 3 for shoulders, and this will be the last one. We're going to do a variation on a dumbbell lateral raise. Traditionally, they look like this, nice big full range of motion. We're gonna do heavy dumbbell partials. So as the name implies, it's not full range of motion. It's really just about the bottom third range of motion. So we're gonna use a load that would be too great to do full range of motion. So the logic behind that is, if you only ever use loads that you can move through the fullest range of motion in this particular exercise, your muscle fibers won't get an opportunity to work with a heavier load. So this way, every maybe 5 or 6 shoulder routines, I'll throw these in. For the most part, 98% of the time you want full range of motion all the time, but there is a place in the world for heavy partials as long as they're under absolute control. So what you're gonna notice is my scapula will still be depressed and retracted, so I've got good strong posture the way you always should. There's never a bad time for good posture. But what you're gonna notice is I'm only moving in about this range of motion. No trap activation, all the work's being done by the medial delt. And this way the medial delt gets an opportunity to work with maybe 40, 45 pounds, which is heavier than I can do these days for full range of motion. So every once in a while, pepper these into your routine, and you'll just get deeper red muscle fiber activation. bump them out to the side. That's it. That's it. So we want nothing going on up here. We want all the action right here. And Paul's medial delts are lit right up right now. So he's just gonna keep banging out reps until he feels the traps starting to engage. And that means the medial delts are cooked. Buddy, big and strong. Big and strong. Right over here, right over here. Good, keep the heat on. Keep them coming, keep that constant tension. Come on, high and wide. Come on. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, come on. 7, 6, keep it coming. 5, doesn't hurt a bit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice.
Damn it. Darn it. Sorry, Chelsea.
All right, so that was chest and shoulders. 6 exercises, 3 for chest, 3 for delts. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you've got questions or comments about anything that you saw today or anything that you haven't seen yet that you'd like to see, hit me up in the comments section below. And please, 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 we're having a really, really good time producing this YouTube content. Share it around, show it to your friends. We really want to build the channel, so the more exposure that we get from you saying, hey, you should check these guys out at Vanilla Gorilla, we really appreciate it. And definitely please go check us out on Instagram at Vanilla Gorilla Crew, and then on our website at www.vanillagorillacrew.ca. Oh, and then before we sign off completely, hit me up in the comment section below and give me a number. We're starting to kick around the idea of doing a calorie challenge. Somewhere north of 10,000, but maybe south of 25,000. Like, I don't want to die trying to entertain you. But close to the edge of death is fine with me. I want to come back and shoot more. So give me a number somewhere in the thousands of calories, and we're going to start kicking around some ideas to put together a calorie challenge. And we think that'll be a lot of fun. So thanks very much for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Hey guys, it's Chelsea. Super huge shout out to 613 Lift. As per usual, we had an absolute blast this morning. Also, big thanks to Paul Masson for putting up with our bullshit. You're super fun to train with, and we don't know what we'd do without you. As for everybody else, drop a comment for how many calories you'd like to see Tim eat. Please be reasonable, because I have to deal with him at home. You can find us on our website at www.vanillagorillacrew.ca and on Instagram at vanillagorillacrew. I think that's it for today. Thanks guys. See you on the flip.